Now, to prepare for this particular exam, you need to get hands-on, and to get hands-on, you need Visual Studio. And so as we go through the course here, we're going to be working in Visual Studio together, and I'd like you to follow along, maybe watch a video, see an example, and I'll jump out into Visual Studio quite a bit. Do a lot of coding, but you need to go through those steps yourself. The best way to learn how to code, actually the only way to learn how to code, is to code. When you see a really gifted programmer who the code just seems to fly out of their fingertips and things just happen magically, what you're seeing there is someone who's made a lot of mistakes and sent a lot of really bad code out. And the best way to learn to code is just simply to code. And so experience is the best teacher here. So to get that experience, you will need to download a free trial of Visual Studio 2012. Now, by the time you see this finished course, you'll probably be looking at Visual Studio 2013 or Visual Studio 2014 or whatever. Just understand the course and the exam at the time we're preparing this is based on Visual Studio 2012. If you end up with Visual Studio 2013, it's not a problem. Everything will work. You may have some more functionalities, some slightly different interface things in 2013 than 2012. But since the course is specifically pointed at Visual Studio 2012, that's what I'm going to use in our course here. So you'll just go to www.microsoft.com, do a search for Visual Studio Trial. You'll have to look around just a little bit. I would give you a link, but it seems like every other Tuesday they change all their links up at Microsoft. So just go out there and do a search for Visual Studio Trial, find Visual Studio 2012, download it. This trial version will run for 90 days, fully featured. Now, the Visual Studio 2012 Express Edition is absolutely free. It's not a trial version. You can load that and it will just run indefinitely, and you can certainly use that here if you would rather use that. However, just be aware that you may see some functionalities in the course here that you won't have access to in the Express Edition. It's not a big deal. You can just kind of watch along in the course, but if you want to get your hands on everything, go grab the Visual Studio trial version. And you can run those side by side, by the way, on the same computer. Now, be aware, if you get the Visual Studio 2012 trial version, you're going to download an ISO file. That thing's going to be just over 1.5 gigabytes in size. So plan accordingly based on your internet connection, the download speeds you get. From the Microsoft side, this thing will come down really quickly. So if you've got a big pipe coming in, it's not going to take you very long to get this thing. So grab you a copy of Visual Studio, go out, find it, download it, and in the next few videos, we'll take a look at installing Visual Studio, take a little Visual Studio tour, and then do the perfunctory Hello World, a very simple little program to just kind of get you acclimated to how you're going to move around and how we're going to work throughout the rest of this course in Visual Studio with C#.